Hello and welcome to the Outcast. I'm your host HC, and with me is.
Wolf.
And today, if you listen to the Outcasties of the previous year, I would have said this has been a long time coming, but honestly, we got to this quicker than I anticipated. So I have no complaints. So just to briefly catch you up on this, this got pretty high on my list. This was number two
Hmm.
alongside another show. And I stand still. This is my favorite show of last year for a lot of reasons. I got into it because it's like, the actress that plays Supergirl now is in this show. And I became a Supergirl fan last year, so it's like, why not check it out, see what's up? It's on Netflix, 5 episodes. That can work. I can do this. And damn, I at first I wasn't like super getting it, I suppose. Like I enjoyed the show a lot, but it wasn't necessarily wow yet. And then the more I thought about it and I saw it a bit more afterwards, and it's like, okay, you know what? No, this is a holy hell. I missed a lot. So now we're here to talk about it. And I'm also making a video review of it, which is 80% done at the time of this recording, but that's no here, no there. But now, Wolf, this show, I'm aware, is out of both of our comfort zones. So I'm wondering, what did you think?
I all right. I got into the first episode and I was like, all right, HC, I'm probably not gonna like this show. And then we
Okay.
got past the first episode and I was like, okay, I still don't like this show necessarily, but it is a good show,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I think the best way to describe it is God, I hate all of these characters, but this is a good show.
Mhm. Fair enough. Fair
Like
enough.
all of these people are horrible, but it's one of those things of I can understand why they're horrible, right? Like it's they are
Yeah.
flawed human beings, and I
In
fully
terms of
understand why they're flawed.
this is kind of the thing I wanted to say, that in terms of actually looking at this, if you're actually trying to look at these people, a lot of them are awful. Even if some of this is justifiable or understandable, they are kind of awful. But I think that's also part of the idea.
Yep.
It's that most of them are just beyond redemption, because this is a dark comedy, so
Yes.
that's also part of it.
But yeah, like don't get me wrong, right? Like I sit here and say I dislike all of these characters, and I'm not. It's not like it's not gonna make any top 10 lists for me, but this I can very clearly see this is a good show, and I did have fun with it.
Well, then I guess we might as well just jump right into spoilers, because this is a show that's hard to talk about without spoilers.
Hmm.
So obviously, I really like this show. I it and one of the main reasons is that you can look at it in so many ways. You can. I'm still thinking about ways to analyze it. I'm still thinking about how can I read this? How is this been? How can you read this? How can you know that? And it's also just it's a beautifully shot show.
Hmm.
All the shots in this show are just beautiful. The
It's very
acting is
vibrant, very
phenomenal.
colorful.
Yeah, the acting is phenomenal as well. Like you said, these are not necessarily great people, but the actors are doing such a great job with these
Hmm.
roles that it's just such a. They are fun to watch, even if they are not necessarily good people, and just the dark comedy works in a lot of ways. So to me, I just really like this show. I comes with my highest recommendations. It still has issues which we will get to, but I really like this show. From your end, I guess you don't love it, but you would recommend it.
Yeah. If there's any slight that I would give this show in a non-spoiler way is that for a dark comedy, I feel it was a little light on the comedy aspect of things at times. But other than that, yeah, I would recommend watching this show. I think if you're into dark comedies and you're into what this show is trying to do, I think you'll very much enjoy it, and I would recommend it.
With that being said, let's spoil this thing. And I say spoil, this show is almost a year old by this point, but yeah. Spo- Spoilers in three, two, one. Still here? Okay. So you know what? We talked about how the characters are not very likable in this. I would say I can make an argument for Devon. Devon is the only one that's normal.
She's better than some of them, but the thing that bothered me the most about her was just her one coming into her sister's life and it was just the demanding. It was just the for me at least that put me off of her character and maybe like, no, you're also a bit of an asshole. You're a better asshole than the rest of these assholes comparatively, but you're still a bit of an asshole. Is when she started throwing in her sister's face that like, oh well, I dropped out of college to help raise you and do all of these other things for you, so you owe it to come help me with dad, and taking care of our dad and all that. And it's like, no, she doesn't owe you, but I get why you would feel that way. I understand it, but no, she doesn't owe you that. So you're a bit of an asshole for doing that, but otherwise you're better than everyone else here.
I tell you what, I get why it's not necessarily that she feel. It's interesting because I don't necessarily feel that she thinks Simone owes her, but as much as you're my sister, we are a family, I need you.
It's a thing of
And
that's how the show plays it off, and I get why they
mhm,
play it off that way at first because again, character growth, right? You're going to see Devon change throughout the series in this, very limited 5 episode run. And by the end of it, I think you as a viewer and Devon herself realize that's not quite what she meant to say or was trying to say, but she still did say it, bit of an asshole. But you are correct, right? I do agree with
yeah,
you.
that's actually something that my one gripe with the show, which I realized, Devon is the only one that doesn't really develop by the end. If anything, it comes across as more that yeah, she's willing to let Simone go, but I think we'll talk about this later. It's less willing to let her go and realizing that she lost.
Mhm.
It's less her realizing something and more just accepting the consequences.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
So okay, but we kind of talked about this for now. Weird to shift it like this, but you know what? I'll ask you this. Everyone, we agree that all the characters are assholes, but which one would you say is your favorite? Which one was either such an asshole that they were fun, or which one you're like, I could maybe jive with you a bit more, if any character like this exists in the show for you?
Oh no. Oh, fuck.
Okay, no comment. Interesting, interesting.
No, it's just that's an interesting thought, and it's like
Because I tell you, my favorite character in the show is Peter, but not because he's a good person. Fuck no, he's a monster. But the thing
I
is,
think I would agree with you. I think I actually liked Peter the most as well, and like, oh god, that feels awful to say.
that's the thing though. He's a terrible person, but everything about him is so interesting. And a part of it is also, Kevin Bacon is an amazing actor. I don't think I need to say anything
This is
about
true.
that. But there's something about the way because keep in mind when the show starts, they're totally trying to play off Michaela as the villain, right?
Yes.
And then you meet Peter in the second episode and you realize that and they play him off as this cool guy that if because we see in the first episode that Simone tells one of the kitchen staff, no, Michaela doesn't, she's off this one ingredient, remake the whole damn drink just because of this one thing. And then you see Peter and it's like, nah, I don't need you. Where he tells, I don't need you to do anything for me. I'm just okay with coffee that I made and reading the paper.
Mhm.
I'm good. I'm all good. And you can also see that just he treats the staff like a family. He's the only one that also doesn't necessarily hate Devon. He tells her where she can smoke. throughout the whole thing. He gives up this such cool dude mentality, and then you realize that he's a jerk, to put it lightly. And
He's a piece
I
of
just find it
shit, is what
interesting.
he is. Like,
Again,
actually,
keep in mind, any kind of bad word I say about him is to put it lightly. He's
yeah,
worse than any word I can think of, but
that's fair.
you get the idea.
Actually, I might put again, still kind of not a good person either, but I might put Jose above Peter. Actually,
Well, Jose is just the MVP of this show. He's amazing.
again, still not a good person, but I think I would
No.
put Jose above Peter. Actually,
No, listen. It cracks me up that whenever they know whenever they hear that Simone is fired, the first thing they do is play the playlist and they start dancing around and everything. And then he puts on an act when he escorts her out. It's like, dude. Oh my God, you are terrible. And then when he realizes that Peter is just going to dump Michaela to get with Simone, and he's just has this, shit, here we go again. It's like, again, not a good person, but it's hilarious. It's
no,
funny.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Oh my God. Yeah. So Jose is the MVP of the show. I'm glad we can agree on that at the very least.
Fair.
So, question to you:
Hmm.
you st- you start when you said you started watching the show, and like for episode one you are like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna like this. Can you walk me through it? What exactly was going through your head with
Well, I
episode one?
mean, to start off with, right? Like I knew nothing about this show whatsoever, other than what you talked,
Mhm.
other than what you stated in the Outcasties, right? So I walked into the
Yes.
show mostly blind for the most part, and when it started off, I was like, "Oh, is this going to be another romance show after Heated Rivalry?" Fuck me.
Romance, yeah. uh, Listen, there are certainly romantic relationships in this show, but this is not a romance show at all. Don't
No.
watch it with your significant other.
And then we started,
Uh,
it started to get a bit more into it, and I was like, okay, I got more attracted to this show when it started doing this. And this is probably one of my other big disappointments with the show is that it has this hint and undertone of like murder mystery almost, of ooh, there's deeper things going on here than what you might realize. And it's like, okay, you have my interest. And as you go further along, you get more and more into that, especially by episode 3, right?
yeah,
And
I
then
still stand. Episode three is the episode where shit goes down. But carry on.
and then it stops. And that's probably like my least favorite part of it. But yeah, like for episode 1, I started off where it was very much a thing of I wasn't jiving with it. None of the characters really caught my attention. And then we get to the end of it, and I was like, okay, maybe there's a little bit more here. I'm gonna continue forward. And then you get into episode 2 and 3, and again, it's just it was the murder mystery vibe that it was giving off. This like
Mhm.
mystery that's in the background almost that
Yeah,
really caught my attention and pulled me through episode 2 and 3.
because I tell you what, the murder mystery. This is not an element that comes in until episode two, but
You get
there
like a
is this
brief bit of
vibe.
it at the end of episode 1, I would say.
But
Brief.
episode one, yeah, but episode one still has this vibe of what the hell is this place? What is wrong with this place in particular? So I kind of get you there.
Yes. And it's also like again, it's this whole you can tell they're going hard in on the idea of sirens from mythology, right? They have the island.
Yeah.
It's focused on
Hmm.
women. The name of the show is Sirens.
And let's not forget the siren choir that's playing in like every scene basically.
Hmm. And then the fact that Michaela will sing almost or hum a tune, right? That attracts people and shit like that. Like you can hear it every now and again. So it's it's one of those things of there are background things of the show that at times I do think make the show far more interesting, at least for me personally, than what it actually is.
Yeah. I can see it because again, part of the reason that it kind of became a favorite of mine is because I love it when a show can make me think about not just a show, but a movie, game, a comic,
Yeah,
whatever, right?
yeah.
When if I can think about the little details and just connect the dots afterwards, and it's like, and I'm getting more out of it because we talked about this a lot that sometimes that whenever you think about something too much, it starts falling apart. I don't necessarily get that with this show. On the other hand, it's the opposite. When I'm thinking about the little details, when I'm thinking about the stuff, either clever camera tricks or just the sound editing or just what the characters say to make it look, I get into it more and more. It's like the little details make the show. I
No,
agree with you there.
I will agree. Yeah, yeah, like it's after episode one, I definitely started getting, like I said, more engrossed, and I kind of hate the show for that because it's again, it's one of my small complaints where I feel like I was led on a little bit, and maybe that's the
Well,
point.
you see, that's exactly it. It's kind of the point and we'll talk about this more because there's a lot of ways in which you're kind of being led on into something because that's the point of a siren, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it
This is
just
true.
it's all over the show.
This is true. But it's episode three that I was like, where the show got me. Wait, what the fuck?
You
I mean,
see,
I guess we're in.
I also talked about in the Outcast is episode 3 is just when the show I don't even want to say jump the shark because that makes it sound bad, but it's just like episode 3 is like the point where I'm like, wait, what? What? Huh? What?
It's like we're in the spoiler section. Fuck it. It's when Ethan
Yeah.
walks into the house alive that I was like, wait, what? We're
Yeah.
not doing the murder mystery? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like so he just walks in and then and then of course and then he brings Bruce, Devin and Simone's father in with I can't believe I forgot his name. God damn it!
Ray,
What's his name? Yeah, with Ray,
the
and
nurse.
it's like, what the hell is even going on at this point? And then when Ethan proposes, it's just like, and it stops. And funny story about this: when I watched the show the first time, I was just doing this. I tried to do like an episode per day. Like I saw episode one on a day, I saw episode two on a. Then I get to episode three, and when it ended, I'm like, okay, no, I need a break. I took like an hour break, and then I'm like, I got 2 3 hours. I'm finishing this. I need to see where this is going. God damn it! Like the episode 3 legit broke me in terms of what the hell.
No, fair. Like I definitely watched a little bit more closely after episode. I was watching more after episode three than I was before it. And
Hmm.
I again,
Wait,
I'm just like
speaking.
I'm on the fence. And you'll hear me continue to say this. I'm on the fence about whether I like that or not. If that makes sense.
I I guess, like with everything, it's kind of I think it can depend on what kind of person you are. And that can also lead to the ending, which again, we'll get to. I say that a lot, I'm aware. But kind of with everything, you can appreciate a show, but to know you can appreciate something for what it's doing, but then saying maybe it's just not necessarily my favorite way to go about this. But to me, that clicked. To me, that
No, that's
clicked
fair.
perfectly.
Absolutely fair.
So, and so I think it's fair that you probably feel you're coming into it by saying you like what it's doing, you are impressed by what it's doing, but it's not necessarily your favorite way to tell a story.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's definitely one of those things of again. I think it mostly comes down to I just got into that idea of the murder mystery far more, and then when it just reveals that's not what we are here, haha. I was very much like, wait, what the fuck? You're not that? Why do you have
I mean,
all like? I swear to you, this show has all of the trappings of a murder mystery after episode
mhm.
one. Like episode two, and then everything leading up to the reveal that Ethan's not actually dead. This show feels like a murder mystery, hands down. Feels like a murder mystery, and then it's
To
just
be fair,
not. And it's like, wait, what?
There's there are hints at that though when Devon is trying to prove that the rumor that Michaela killed Jocelyn, Ethan, not Ethan, Peter's ex-wife.
Hmm.
There's they kind of start playing with it, but then also that's just kind of the show does kind of forget about it until the final episode where it just reveals that, oh no, I didn't kill her. She's just, she had a terrible accident doing a plastic surgery, and she lives on like a remote island or something away from the public. It's like, okay,
That was
sure.
such a throwaway line, it felt like.
Yeah, it is. It is because, um,
But
but
it
but yeah,
does fit this
I,
show, though, I must say.
I mean, can you
And I
repeat
don't mean
that?
that
Did you say
it.
it hurts the show?
I said it fits this show. Like that
Oh,
being such a throwaway,
mhm,
that being such a throwaway line does, I feel, fit the show. And I don't mean that in a bad way, to be clear.
mhm. Yeah, I can see why, because it's just one of those things that at this point you're kind of sold on this, that something had to happen with this ex-wife, and then they do nothing with it. It's just kind of like, okay, sure, that's the end of it. But you know what? It brings me into something I want to say. That one of the things, if you know me, and you should, we've been doing this for 10 years almost.
Hmm.
What's one thing that I despise in media like this, be it a show or a movie? Tell, don't show. I fucking hate that shit. You
Yeah,
know me. You know that I do.
fair.
This show has a lot of tell, don't show, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would agree. There's a lot of. Yeah, I would agree.
Like, because when Devin explodes on Simone, that like you're not appreciative of everything that I've done to you, for you, we don't see that. We are just told about it. When it comes down to what the backstory of how Peter and Michaela even got together, we are just being told about it. We don't see it. There's a lot of lore, if you will, that you just don't see. You're just supposed to accept, but and on any other show, I would call foul. I would say, no, this is tell don't show. It's the laziest type of writing. You know from the other stuff that tell don't show for me can kill a thing, right?
Hmm.
But here they do something that's clever, and that they do show you these things, but in an alternate way. Because, like I said, you don't see how Peter and Michaela got together, right? You don't see the story of how they got together, how Peter divorced Jocelyn and married Michaela. You don't see that. You just see the aftermath of that.
Yeah.
But what you do see is history repeating itself when Peter cheats on Michaela with Simone, and then Simone becomes his new wife by the end.
Hmm.
And then again, everything that Devin just gave up, to get Simone into college and everything, you don't see that, but you see all the effort that Devin goes through in order to get Simone out of the Cliff House. It's you don't necessarily. It's not that they show you any of this, but they show you a different side of it that that strengthens what they're telling you. You get what I mean? You see an alternate take on it. You see the same events but played differently.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, I have to say. It caught me unprepared when I was thinking about it.
No, I would agree. It's the same thing of like when Simone's having her panic attack, right? And you see Devin there
Mhm.
comforting her through that and everything, right? It's
Yeah.
very much a thing. Excuse me. It's very much a thing of like they show you that Devin does
Mhm.
care,
Yeah.
even though they tell you about everything Devin has done in the past. They show you, oh, these are the links, like you said, that she's willing to go to, and what she's willing to do
Mhm.
for her sister and her family.
Yes.
So
There's
you.
even in episode 2 as well, there's a point where Devin tells Michaela, "You don't know my sister as much as I do."
Hmm.
And you don't care for my sister as much as I do. And you see that she even tells her, like, sometimes with your siblings you want to kill them, you want to destroy them, but when
Mm-hmm.
push comes to shove, they're always there for you, and you see that with that scene. That's one strong ending.
Yep. Agreed.
So now I don't have any siblings. You do. How do you feel about this?
No, like the show's like it's not wrong in that statement, right? Like there, it's absolutely correct, right? It's very much a thing of sometimes you want to strangle them half to death, but you stick there for them anyways. Now, granted, I might disagree with the idea that you owe it to family to do X, Y, or Z for family. You don't. If you choose to do so, that is perfectly fine. But you don't owe it to anyone to do anything for anyone. Like, let's always be clear about that. And again, this is why I think Devin is a bit of an asshole, but just a better one than some of the other people in this show. With that said, it is a way that siblings will feel and what they will do with one another and say to one another, right? Like, oh, I've done this, this, or this for you, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it all,
Mhm,
none of it is wrong in terms of displaying people, especially flawed people, right?
mhm.
Like these people are flawed people. So
Yeah.
flawed.
Mhm.
Because
Oh, you finished. Okay,
oh yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
thought you had a
Yeah.
point.
No, no. Like again, it's just a thing of no. It's the show is doing exactly what it needs to do to portray two sisters, in my opinion, 100%, and how they will sometimes act and react towards one another, and how they will sometimes treat one another, even though they do still love one another. Like you can tell that even by the end, like they both care about one another, but they are very different people.
That's true. And again, it all comes down to the ending, essentially. When they say their goodbyes, you kind of feel like that. There is this mentality, which again, another interesting thing that I figured out afterwards, that Michaela puts into Simone this idea that if it doesn't serve you, leave it behind,
Hmm.
right? And and you can kind of tell that Devon is the complete she's completely against this idea. She feels like that she owes her family this. She needs to be there for the family. She needs to go to these extremes because that's her part. And Michaela does kind of call her out on that after doing this one scene where she tells her, you want to be validated for everything that you've done for this family. You keep fighting because you kind of want this. You want someone to tell you, "Good job,"
Hmm.
and then you get to the ending where Devon just realizes she kind of can't have nice things and she needs to go back home with her dad. But then Simone does have some sort of an arc where yeah she does leave something that doesn't serve her behind. The thing is though that what she leaves right now is the same woman she adored and taught her that lesson to begin with. It's this way of damn, talk about a boomerang that comes right back at you, right?
I mean, it's also a thing though, right? Of she's making the exact same mistakes Michaela did. She is Michaela through and through. Like she has become
Yeah.
her basically, almost in a sense.
Yeah, no,
And
she
whether
did.
she
She
realizes it,
literally took over.
whether she realizes it or not, and she's gonna be, and you don't need more of the show to realize she's gonna be put in the exact same position Michaela was one day. It doesn't matter. It's just a matter. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when, right? Because
Yeah.
Peter is that kind of person.
Mhm.
Because he'll cheat on
Yeah.
her too. He'll do the same things. He's not gonna change. He
You know
hasn't
what?
now. So
You know something? If we're kind of there, might as well talk about the ending. I have to ask, what was your thought of the ending when you got there? When you realized, okay, this is the ending of the show. What was your reaction?
I mean, my first reaction was these people are fucked. Forgive my language. These people are fucked.
Forgive my language. We are swearing in every episode of this damn thing.
Uh, these people are fucked. Like I swear, man. Like Peter's just a piece of shit. He cheated on his first wife. Blames
Yep.
Michaela for being estranged from his kids, even though that's on him. did not protect Michaela from that, made it all her fault. Like she's the reason why he cheated. Fuck you, number one, for that shit. Fuck you for
We'll
like
talk about this in a bit. I
again.
have something about that, but
And
yeah,
let's be clear, Michaela's not a good person either because, and I can't believe
yeah.
I'm saying this, Peter is right. If you need insurance within a marriage, that's not a good marriage. End of discussion. It's
You know
just not.
something? Let's. You brought this up. Let's talk about this now because I brought this up in the video I'm making too. Forget who's the siren in this metaphor, right? Because the twist at the end is essentially that Peter is the siren, not
Yeah.
any of the women.
Yeah.
But kinda. But let's when you just look back at everything here from how he didn't really defend Michaela against his kids and how she was just the woman the woman who took over for Jocelyn and that she needs to keep all of these things as assurance to make sure that he doesn't dump her and she loses everything, which ends up happening. They are just not good for each other. They are toxic towards each other, which,
You know,
for the record, is the point. The writing aims for that. It is the point.
I wouldn't even
But fuck,
say,
man.
yeah, I wouldn't even say Peter's the siren. I would argue, and maybe other people have already argued this, I would argue that Peter isn't the siren at the end of it. It's just money and power that is the siren.
Oh, I agree with you completely, for the record. And again,
No,
we'll
fair,
talk
fair.
about this later. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's. But I mean more in terms of the twist essentially, because when you hear siren, you see the picture we have now as the thumbnail. You see these three women. You're like, oh, they are the sirens. And it's like, and the show then kind of pulls it under you. And it's like, lol, no, it's him. It's this
Yep.
guy.
Agreed.
Now, so now, like I said, yeah, Peter and Michaela are not a good couple
No,
whatsoever.
they're not.
And it's like, and you see this from the first scene they're interacting. That like she tells them, she hugs them and goes, "Oh no, and he's like, "I'm so sorry about the bird. What was his name?" Like he doesn't even care what the bird's name is. He's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry about what's his face." Yeah, yeah, and then. And then, can you name one scene in the show where they're not fighting or anything? There's just one scene where they actually act like a couple, and that's near the end of episode 4, where he comes clean about being at his grandson's christening, and she apologizes that she never really let him talk to her about it because it's a sensitive topic to her that she can't have kids. That's that's the one scene where they actually act like a damn couple in the entire show.
Which is wild as well because it comes off of the scene of her of Michaela helping Devin and
Bruce.
Simone's dad Bruce with
Yeah.
because he has dementia and everything, right? Like that's a
Mm-hmm.
portion of the show also.
Which, by the way, the scene where after we discover the backstory with why Simone hates Bruce so much, and the first time they interact when he has an attack and he goes, where's Simone and like where's Devin and she goes, Dad, I'm Simone. It's like, no, Simone's dead. That's legit the scariest scene in the show. That was actually like fucking hell.
By the way, their dad
Yeah.
also a piece of shit, even if he does have dementia.
Yeah, yeah. Like he
And
has the
again,
condition. I get it,
this
but
is also why like Simone is completely justified in not wanting to go and help her dad
oh,
at all
definitely.
whatsoever.
Mhm. Yeah. That's something that I found it interesting because at first you don't necessarily get why. Like they hold you the reason as to why she hates him so much
Hmm.
until you get to episode 4. And episode 4,
Yes.
it's the semi-final episode. So interesting decision to keep it from the audience for so long, but when you get there, because at first I was more team Devon than Simone, but then when it gets there, it's like Simone suddenly starts becoming a lot more understandable and a lot more, it's like, okay, I don't necessarily agree with you, but then again, I wasn't in a situation like this, so I don't really have any reason to judge, right? But when it gets there, brave decision to keep it from the audience for so long.
Well, it's when like they want you to see Simone, Michaela. I think it just comes from that idea of them wanting you to see Simone and Michaela, especially. as the villains
Mhm.
for a long portion of the show until you get closer to episode 4 and 5 and the end and
Yeah.
everything, where actually no, Michaela's not really the villain of this show. I mean, honestly, no one's the villain of this show. They're all just assholes.
Yeah, they're all
Like,
just
other than
big
maybe
and
Peter, who is definitely a villain.
yeah, and that's why it's interesting that you said that that you also picked up on it, that the status and money are the real sirens in here. Because when I thought about it, yeah, but H1 kind of, it's not that the men are the sirens and the women aren't, or the women are and the men aren't. Every character is kind of a siren in its own way, but then again, which weirdly enough, sirens are a creature in Greek mythology, and isn't Greek mythology just that? Everyone just tries to kill each other, essentially. Yeah,
Mm.
fitting. But then you think, well, what's the special meaning behind it? And then I realized it's the status, it's the money, the status, all of that shit that you think. Because when for a let's assume, because in context with this universe, Peter and Michaela are some sort of celebrities, right? Or at least they are figures in the public conscience,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And isn't essentially that you hear about, be it actors or directors or any sort of person who becomes notable for something, and you think, wow, I wish I could be them. Their lives are probably the best. They don't have to worry about anything because they have a ton of money, and everyone knows them and everyone loves them. And then once, if and when you get to that situation, you get to that place where you are suddenly a public figure, you suddenly realize, well, fuck, this is, this life ain't perfect. I still have a lot of shit to deal with. I think that's the real siren, that you want this life that you think is going to fix all of your problems, but then you get there, and guess what? It has more problems. In a way, that's exactly what Simone is feeling. Why did she go be Michaela's assistant? Because she thought it would solve all of her problems. Lo and behold, she got into even more shit.
Yeah. 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 Agreed.
So yeah,
Agreed.
you see, this is why I really like this show. Look at the discussions we can get into just from this damn plot, right?
I mean,
It's so interesting.
I do love though. I do love though that the discussion mostly amounts to super rich people bad.
Yes, I'm sure. I mean,
I mean,
I
hey,
mean.
if it's true, it's true, and it's true.
I mean, let's think about some of the real life billionaires we have. Yeah, okay, let's look at the list. Okay, yeah, no, no, the show has a point. I'm Because what other billionaires can we think about that are actually good? Batman and Scrooge McDuck, and they are not fucking real.
Fair.
And Tony Stark, I think, but you know what? That's debatable. What was where even were we? Right. That is. So anyway, we started talking about the ending. So now that we went over the Peter and Michaela relationship, let's put this to the side. We agreed it's a bad relationship. No go. So you get to the ending. What are your thoughts? Hit me. I want the unfiltered. What were you thinking when you got to the ending?
One of my big first thoughts personally was it felt a little weird. Like, I forget exactly what Devin said to Simone, but it was the idea of like, no, I didn't do any of that for you. I did it for me, and I'm letting you go. Like, to me, it felt a little bit disingenuous there at the end, considering
Mhm.
what Devin had been doing the entirety of the show up to that point. To then
Yeah,
say
which is
that,
why I say I think this is just the point where she realizes that she lost Simone forever. She can't get her back, so she just tries to end it on a better
and maybe
note.
that's the way
Because
to look at
also,
it. But yeah, like
mm,
like you said, maybe the way to look at it is she just realized she lost, and that was her just accepting the loss and trying to move forward. I don't know. It just felt weird coming. The lines just felt weird coming from her. It didn't match with everything we had seen up to that point, and so it feels off in a way.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that's this thing, but what did you think about Peter ending up with Simone?
I mean, I'm not surprised, right? It makes sense. There's nothing like it makes sense for Peter one to do this because he is that kind of person, right? But I mean, I'm not surprised that Simone did that because that's what she wanted all along, really, I think. The
Debatable
way
if she wanted Peter in particular, and I'll talk about
true,
this.
true. But it's definitely a thing of she wanted Michaela's life, right? Like I don't think that's up for debate. Like even if she didn't
Oh, that
realize that's what she wanted at first, at some
I
point
think
along the
even in the job
line,
interview. Yeah,
yeah.
I think even in the job interview, you kind of yeah, she just wanted to be Michaela. She made all this thing because she just adored her. She wanted to be her.
So with that in mind, like I'm not surprised by it, and it's like it's almost a little bit sad because again, you can see that she's just going down the exact same path Michaela did. She's gonna make all of the exact same mistakes. It's she's gonna end up in the exact same place. And they even kind
Let's
of
you you know
mention
what?
this at
Let's
the
just put
end
this out
with
there.
Michaela and Devin talking at the very end as well.
Let's just put it out there. In terms of the main characters, that's the main trio you see on the thumbnail right now. This show doesn't have a good ending whatsoever. All three of them are essentially fucked in one way or another.
I think Devin's probably the best ending simply because she's like, hey, I'm gonna still take care of my dad, but I'm gonna get my own place. I'm gonna be separated from him to some degree, and I'm gonna try and do better with my life. Like, is the feeling I got. So it's like, okay, it seems like if anyone, she's probably got the best ending simply because like she did not fall prey to the siren's call, basically.
Yeah, to some because in a way you can say that when Morgan, which honestly God bless them, I hope they, I kind of
I
hope that
think
they
he's
are at least in touch.
like I
He's
think
the
he's
only
the best.
decent person.
Yeah, I think he's the
Yeah,
only good thing out of this show. Like Ray, her kind of boyfriend, who
no,
she's
Ray's
basically,
terrible.
yeah,
The
he's
Ray's
terrible,
terrible.
and again,
But the
he's cheating on his
gardener is like,
wife. The
but
gardener
the
guy,
gardener.
the gardener guy is
Listen,
so
what
random. Why the
what was the casting sheet for this guy? Can you be a lost puppy dog? Yes, the job is yours.
it felt so out of place. Like we didn't talk about this, but to see Ray, Morgan, and Gardner dude running
Yeah.
after Devin on like just following Devin on the beach as she's having a breakdown, and then her telling Ray like, "Hey, if you just walked out into the ocean and drowned, I wouldn't care." And the motherfucker did it, by the way. Like, are
Yeah,
you
he did
stupid?
it completely.
Like he tried to do it. He didn't drown himself, but he tried. Like
Yeah.
again, going with that whole siren thing, but to see them just following her around because again, siren deal, right? Like haha, wink wink, nudge nudge. I
Hmm.
see you creators what you're doing here. It just
Yeah.
the gardener guy feels so out of place in this moment. The other two make
Yeah.
way more sense.
Yeah, because she actually, this guy is just, why are you even here?
Yeah.
And I kind of love it because it's, again, like I said, you look at him, it's like, what was the job description? What was the audition sheet for this guy?
The fact that he was
And
at the dinner as well, like at the dinner
yeah,
table too, just eating with everyone.
uh,
It's like, why are you here?
listen, listen, I've been to some awkward dinners in my life. This dinner,
Also, the
no.
fact that just my reaction for a lot of this show was just what the there is no fucking way a billionaire hedge fund manager is going to be doing any of this shit. Random
What,
stranger
like, oh,
walks up to me in my house and calls me big cheese. They might think that's funny, but at the same time, they're probably gonna be like, "Security? Who the fuck? Leave now?"
But that's the thing. They're trying to sell you that Peter is this cool dude, and
I
he's
know,
not.
but it's so fucking like, I think that's what took me out of it the most, where it's like, you're right, that's what they're trying to sell you, but yeah, I was not sold on that ever from moment 1, like, there is 0 way. The coffee thing, you
Yes.
might have sold me on, but then once he, like, just let Devin just walk up to around the house completely unchaperoned, no fucking clue, never met this woman before, and she's just and you're sharing basically a blunt with her now, okay, yeah, I buy that. Billionaire hedge fund manager, sure.
Mhm.
The fact that just billionaire hedge fund manager has invited random gardener to eat at his table with dementia dad and like all the
No, the dementia that though I'll put a small on Ethan than Peter, but
I mean, I think it's like it's acceptable-ish because it's, um Simone's dad, I guess, and he just,
I guess.
they didn't know like Simone's whole past, but at the same time, ain't no way there's no fucking billionaires doing this shit. Get out of here.
Well,
This is some
well,
wild
yeah,
shit.
so again, we keep
This is some Hollywood
tangenting.
shit. Is what this is.
We keep tangenting here because I'm trying to talk about this ending,
I know.
but you see, because I haven't thought about it, and now I'm kind of pissed that I can't put this in my video. But yeah, when Morgan invites Devon to like the cruise, to go on with him onto the sea for a month, she ends up taking and she ends up declining. Yeah, in a way, this is a metaphor that the siren call didn't get her because what do the sirens do? They drag you to the sea, right?
Mhm.
So interesting that she's the only one that didn't really fall for that, and it's represented by she's not going into the sea with essentially a siren kind of thing. Okay,
Well,
interesting. I
well,
never thought about that.
it's also right a thing of again, if you look at the whole siren idea of being just money, and like here's the siren call of this money attracting you, bringing you into it. Simone fell for it. Michaela fell for it. Devin almost fell for it, but then she still walks away with a treasure, quote unquote, with that $10,000 check.
Yes, that's
So it's
right.
like again, I would argue again, she got the even though like she got the best ending, even if it's not a good
It's it,
ending.
best doesn't necessarily mean good. She's the one that's just less screwed in the whole situation.
I think she's the one who will potentially she's the one who has a better path to happiness in the future, right? If she's willing to take that, right? Compared to Simone, who I there is no way I ever see Simone being truly happy. For a time, maybe she will be, but
Like, I
as time
think
goes
that's also
on,
kind of
she won't be.
what the ending is trying to establish to you, because when Devon leaves her, you see that she's like all giggly and happy and excited when they're at the gala, and then the next time when the show ends, the last thing you see is her staring into the ocean, and it's like, yeah, no, I think this is already the point where she just realizes that she essentially became a trophy wife and nothing more.
I mean, you can see there's a smile on her face as she's like staring out at the ocean on the island, but it's not the same. You're right. It's different from the way she was at the gala.
Yeah. Which, by the way, they talk about this damn gala so much that you just knew something is going to get fucked with this whole thing.
Mm.
Now, what got messed up isn't necessarily what you were expecting, but
No,
yeah, talk about an event that didn't go according to plan whatsoever.
I. There's a question I have for you. I'm
Yes.
curious your feeling. Did Simone push Ethan? Yes or no?
No.
I.
From any way you see it, it's a no.
You're right, but yeah, she pushed Ethan.
Okay, how am I? Before you tell me how I'm right and how I'm wrong, I just going back to the ending for a second. I just have to say, when I first got to it, I'm like, Wait, what? That's how it's ending? What?
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't get it at all. It went over my head. I am like, what the fuck are you trying to do here? What?
Hmm.
No. No, you can't tell me that this little cheating thing from episode 3 is now suddenly the end game romance. You can't. You just can't. And apparently, Devon's actress kind of agree with me because she said I read an interview somewhere where she said that it also went over her head. She also didn't get it at first,
Uh-huh.
and I found, which made me feel a bit validated. So
Fair
yay!
enough.
But but then when I thought about and when one day I think I was talking about this with someone, and then I was also kind of reading around, and it sounded like, when you suddenly feel like something just slaps you across the face, like the realization just comes at you, and I'm like, fuck, I get it. Holy shit, what a terrible ending, but not terrible in the way it's executed, terrible in the way the writers intended it to be.
Hmm.
And and it was just this moment when I realized, damn, this show is more than I anticipated. Fuck, I'm gonna think about this all the time now. Still didn't recover, obviously. So yeah, that's my little hurrah with the ending, I suppose.
Fair. No, fair.
But now, okay, why did Simone push it and hit me with it?
No, it's not. It's a thing of it. Just that's just vibe, man. That's what that is. You can see
Vibe,
and you
okay,
can
that's
see
what it.
like you can see just enough in the show that like it doesn't look like she pushed him, and she definitely didn't. But I mean, it's Simone. I
What does that
I
mean,
could
though?
I could believe she pushed him.
Here's the thing. Simone is for a lot of the show, and Simone is a bitch. Okay, let's not men's words here. And again, that's the point. I get it.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
as much as she isn't likable, she's interesting to think about. She's a great character. But there's a difference between being kind of a bitch to throwing a drunk person off a cliff. Now you could make the argument because she rejected him, that's what led to the whole thing. But no, no, she didn't push him.
Listen, I'm
He's
not
an
saying
idiot.
she pushed him. I'm just
No,
saying
she didn't.
I believe. I would believe she pushed him.
Oh, you would believe. You gotta believe. That was a random ass reference. Do you think Simone pushed Ethan? I gotta believe. Okay, I'm stopping. We're not doing this.
Uh-huh.
The two people who realize what I just referenced are probably slamming
Listen,
their heads on the keyboards listening to this.
I would believe she pushed him. If someone listen, if it was a court of law and you were trying to convince me, I'm convinced. Everything I've seen of this woman thus far, I'm convinced already. She definitely pushed him, even though she definitely didn't push him. Wink, wink.
Can I get a T-shirt with that? She definitely pushed him, even though she definitely didn't. I need a T-shirt with that. Somebody. Well, anyway, you know what? Let's talk about Ethan for a second.
Oh fuck me. This guy is
Ethan,
also an asshole and a piece of shit. Like,
asshole. Forget asshole. He's a fucking moron.
well, yes, that too. He is very
Also,
much
can we, can we talk about what is the deal recently with having dudes be obsessed with ducks? Can you answer me this question?
no clue.
Like, uh, you first there was Hugh Neutron, then there was Lucifer, then there was someone in Good Omens. I don't remember who, but there was someone in Good Omens, and now this. Is this like a trend now that guys are obsessed with ducks for whatever fucking reason?
I mean, ducks are cool, I guess.
I guess.
Question mark.
You know, you know what? I would pay to see the point where Simone went into Ethan's room and he's watching Donald Duck cartoons. Well, anyway, so Ethan, what the fuck is this guy? Like, talk about just a complete buffoon of a dude who doesn't get anything about humans. He more luck the more luck than brains, as they say,
I mean,
because
he's a
because
trust
I
fund
like
baby.
how
It makes sense.
yeah. And listen, I get why he's friends with Peter. I guess I get why he's around the area. I get that, but this dude clearly is clearly thinking with his dick and not his brain.
I mean, he's
Okay,
divorced from
that's
reality. That's for sure, for certain.
definitely. I'm not saying there are people like that. Sadly, I know some of these people, but
Yeah.
regardless, now, but now, what kills me, what absolutely floors me, though, is that at the end of episode one, Simone tells him straight up, "I don't want to talk about my past. I don't want you to know my past. My sister just waltzed in here, you know that, but otherwise, no. I don't want you to know about my past." He seems to agree with that. Now, Michaela probably tells him some mumbo jumbo up on the cliff, or we think she murdered him. And it's like, okay. And
She
his first thing
definitely
is to
murdered him.
go, is to fly to fucking Buffalo, bring her father into her so that he could propose to her. And dude, listen, did you listen to anything she said? You could have just done it without asking the father, without bringing the father over and cause her trauma. And then, besides all that, when she tells him to his face what the problem is, he goes, "You know, I rejected Katy Perry." It's no offense to Katy Perry, but what does this have to do with anything?
I mean, again,
It's not the
it's
point, man.
that's him being divorced from reality, right? Like that's his character in a nutshell. Basically,
Yeah.
it's also this whole thing of it, I guarantee you, and it's I fucking hate that I completely understand why he did what he did. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I just hate that I understand it. He
Yeah.
fully, I guarantee you, it was a thing of, at least for the character, at least in my opinion, it was a thing of, oh, this is what people do. And now I know I should get her father's permission and then ask to marry her. And so I do this in front of her father. And so I can do all this. So I just do that. And it's like, no, bro, no, you don't. You don't
Hmm.
need to do that. You can do that. Some situations that's an okay thing to do. This was not one of those.
But
She
could,
told you no.
could doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, could does not mean should. And you did because you're a dumbass because you thought that's the way it should be done, and it's like, you're divorced from reality because, again, you're an idiot.
Which I
And
gotta
it's
say,
also
no.
again, it's also a thing of going back to that, like, eh, a lot of this, a lot of the men in the show are just awful, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
And again, it's why him and Peter are friends, because neither
Mhm.
of them really care about the women they're with. It's just
Yeah. There's also in one of the weirdest bits of foreshadowing when Jose shows Peter and Michaela the footage of Simone deactivating the cameras every time she goes to see every time she goes to see Ethan. It's this thing where apparently it's his motive. That's his thing. That he just whenever there's a new cute girl throughout this time of year, he ends up sleeping with her. So we kind of know that Simone that it gives the impression that Simone is just another girl. But then Peter just kind of has this, I can kind of get it, like Simone is pretty, and it's like, and he's also just sitting there with his guitar, and it's like, dude, are you faced by anything?
mm.
And
But it is
but this
also a
is really.
thing of, at least for Simone and Ethan,
Mhm.
the show has Michaela talk to Simone, and like, I don't know if that was Simone's choice or if that was Michaela convincing Simone not to get married to Ethan.
I think it's both. I tell you
Because
what, I think it's both because the first thing that happens though is the entire thing with there's the entire thing of he brought her father over and that was the big no for her. That's the point where every no she would have never said yes afterwards.
I would
What I th-
I would
but I
argue
think
that one
Mhm.
mistake shouldn't be the end of a relationship. You can talk about things, but these are not normal people and they don't do this. So,
But on the one hand, you're right that these are not normal people, but this is a big ass mistake.
this is
This is not an oopsie. This is like a mistake that has a lot of mental consequences
And
on the
his
matter.
reaction to it is not helpful at all whatsoever.
There you go.
But it is something that you can get past in a relationship if you are committed and willing to go the effort and the extra mile, right? It is something that can be overcome. Again, it is a mistake. His reaction to it is not good at all whatsoever. And again, that's the point. He's not a good person. But
Which, by the by, it has nothing to do with anything. I don't have the full details, but from research I've done about the play which inspired the show, Elemental
mm,
P, apparently in this, Simone ends up. Simone does end up with Ethan. Like they are the end game. Simone and Peter aren't a thing in the original play.
interesting.
Again, I don't know the full context because I know that from what I gathered, if I'm incorrect about something, then feel free to correct me on this because I just read a bit about it online. I don't really know the full details, but Peter and Michaela do end up separating, but it's not because of Simone. Simone stays with Ethan, and if anything, Morgan just kind of seems like they took a bit of Ethan and made him a whole different character in the show.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's wild to think about because, yeah, no, and regardless if you want to say that Michaela maybe put the idea in her head, Simone should have dumped Ethan. This is not a good relationship.
No, it's not. I mean, it's the same thing with Michaela and Peter, right? Like, none of these are good relationships. And the same thing with Simone and Peter. Like, that might be better, question mark. But at the same time, I don't think
We'll
that's going
talk
to
about
stay
this.
better.
Oh boy, we'll talk about this. So, I just want to say though, unrelated, and no offense to the actor playing Ethan, I'm sure he's a swell dude. But I saw this featurette on YouTube where the actors are reacting to scenes, right? They're watching scenes from the show and reacting to them, like in retrospect. And he's watching the proposal scene, and he goes, "Oh, this is such an, this thing is so complicated for Millie, Simone's actress. She's a lot of things that you need to juggle in that scene. But to me, it was relatively simple. I don't have much to say about this. Isn't it like the perfect Ethan reaction to the scenario?"
Fair enough.
Okay, like again, I'm sure the actor is a swell dude outside of the
Probably.
show. I'm sure he's nothing like Ethan, but that reaction just got me because,
Hmm.
damn, talk about fitting the character right there.
I
But
mean, good
yes,
casting.
and one last thing, I mentioned this in my video. I have to mention it now. When they are at the dinner, and Ethan goes, "Can you imagine what mine and Simone's kids would look like when he's talking about it?" And so years ago, I went to grab dinner with a few coworkers, right? We
Hmm.
left work and we were like, you know what? Let's just go grab dinner. So we went to go grab dinner, and one of the coworkers he commented that the waitress who took our order looked cute. Fair enough. And then another coworker was just like, for some reason, I can only bring myself to hit on a girl based on how I imagine our children looking. And me and the other two coworkers just looked at him like he fell from fucking space. We're like, how do you react to something like this? You get me?
Yeah. No. Yeah, weird. Weird.
I'm glad that you also find that extremely weird because
No,
what
it's
the
weird.
absolute fuck?
I
And
mean,
Ethan reminded me of that.
no,
Not a
yeah.
good sign.
Yeah. Very much, yeah. Very
Have I
much, yeah.
mentioned that I knew people like this? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Wow. Anyway, so anything else you want to talk about before we move to the Simone Peter romance?
No, let's jump into it.
Okay, so again, kind of like with the ending, walk me through this. What was Wolf thinking when he was
Wolf.
experiencing the scene in episode 3?
I mean, three to specifically to get to the specific scene, you're talking about the one where they're cohogging together.
Yeah, the co-hogging I can at least kind of get because oh, Michaela sent Simone to spy on him. Which, by the way, kind of funny that Michaela doomed herself in this case. Now that we're thinking about it,
It's one of those
but
things I really wonder. And again, this is one of those few things where the show doesn't tell you on. It just kind of shows you this brief bit. And again, you can kind of infer that this may have happened regardless of whether Michaela had like Peter may have tried to come on to Simone at some point in the future, right? Like this would have happened eventually. It feels like one of those things, but at the same time, and
because
again,
I tell you what, before we go back to this, in episode one, Peter doesn't show up at all. All we
hmm,
get in terms of interaction between them is that Simone tells Devon that he's a really nice guy, which of course she would say that he's technically her boss. So that's nothing to go off. Now, episode two is the first time they interact, and the only interaction is that she brings him his schedule and he thanks her for walking the holiday. That's it.
yeah,
That's where it ends. We don't really know anything about this either. Episode 3 is interesting because the episode which kind of tells you, oh, this is gonna happen, they are the end game, is also the episode which starts kind of planting the idea in your head, because he actually comes to her and reassures her that that she can talk to him about the panic attacks, and that he won't tell Michaela because she sees his panic attacks as a failure of will, which
it's
fucking hell, you
fuck
know.
Michaela for that. By the way,
Yeah,
again,
but
asshole. But anyways,
yeah, but
we've
it's
established
this
this.
point where this is the point where okay, so they have this one thing in common, but you don't necessarily thinking about them like this. And then you get to the co-hugging scene, which essentially she only joins them co-hugging because he caught her spine on him, and then there's the kiss. So now we go back to Wolf. Guide me towards through your experience with this scene.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't think. I mean, at first, I didn't think they were setting this up until we got to the end. It's like, oh, we are doing that. Okay. I thought it was just okay. He's just that kind of person, and that's just what he was going to do because he's done it before with Michaela. So obviously, this is going to happen, and this is just there to cause drama between Michaela and Simone. No, I mean yes, but also no.
Yeah, so you were kind of in the same boat as me that, oh, okay, I guess that's some sort of tension we need to be on the lookout for. And then by the end, it's like, oh, no, wait, they are the end game? Okay.
Yeah, it's when we got to the end where I was very much, huh? Because I feel like up to that point, I would honestly say, I mean, yeah, I would honestly say before the ending, like Simone is the only one who feels like she's not like she's a bit of an asshole, but compared to everyone else other than Morgan, she's not at all. Like Morgan is the only
mhm.
good person here. Simone's like right below Morgan, and then you get to the very end, you're like, oh, you're not a good person either. You
Yeah, I
also
think
have problems.
I would
But
disagree. Simone is an asshole from the very
well,
beginning to a
I
degree,
would say
but
it's a thing of Simone is the most understandable because one, like she has probably the most trauma out of everyone. Like even compared to Devon, I would argue, simply because when their mother committed suicide, right? Like she was trying to kill Simone at the same time.
yeah.
That didn't happen to Devon, that happened to Simone, right? And yeah,
Mhm.
like Simone may not have been old enough to remember everything exactly or know exactly what was going on, but Simone feels the most like, and then again, what she went through with her dad, with him basically because he was depressed, mistreating her and just not taking care of her at all, even though she's a young kid.
Yeah.
Like, she feels the most like, okay, I can forgive you for acting this way to some degree because I understand what you've been through, right?
Yeah.
But then you get to the end and it's like, now let me be clear. That does not excuse anything. Let's be clear. Like, like I can sit here and tell you, right, like I can understand why her dad, being depressed did not take care of her as well because he was depressed that his wife killed herself, right? But that doesn't excuse not taking care of your kid when they need it and
Yeah.
everything.
Especially when he loses custody of her for being
For being
neglected.
neglected, yeah.
That that's again wasn't in the situation, praise the Lord, but I'd assume for a kid that's one hell of a trauma.
Hmm. And then everything she went through in foster care as well, right? Like that's also not great potentially, depending on the foster parents you get, but a whole other story. Either way, right? Like I can forgive Simone more easily, and maybe that's the point because she feels like she's been through the most. So, and it's only when you get to the end that okay, I don't think this is forgivable. But at the same time, I mean, I get why Michaela fires her,
No, I get that, and also I
but at the
think
same time,
one of the
that's
strongest
not
lines in the
Simone's
show.
fault.
Yeah, and you see, I was getting to that. That one of the strongest lines in the show is when Simone tells her, "You, this is exactly what happened between you and with you and Jocelyn. You know, he came to me. This is not," and she tells her, "Jocelyn wasn't my friend." That's one of the biggest ouch
Mm.
lines in this show.
I get the fact that that Jocelyn wasn't my friend, like that somehow makes it better. No, it doesn't, lady.
No,
Like,
that's the thing. That's the thing. It doesn't. It makes it worse.
yeah, and you still did that, but at the same time, like fuck me, like the shit people will say in this show, fully straight faced, like it's okay to say something like fuck me. Everyone in this show is awful. I hate this show. I hate this
Everyone's in the show is
show.
awful. Well, the one last thing I will say regarding with
Oh me.
the whole money thing is the interesting one of the interesting conversations though is that in episode 4 there's Bruce and Ethan talking on the lighthouse, right? Essentially, you get two assholes who did bad things and they're kind of feeling remorseful for those bad things, right? But this is the point where you also realize that the main difference between them is the money.
Yeah.
I just really like this scene of them talking to each other, realizing they are essentially the same. They are mirrors to each other, but one has money, one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And even worse, one of them is most likely not going to remember this entire thing.
Mm.
Just a really good scene I wanted to bring up regarding the whole thing. So
And it's also like, oh man, like again, there's some great like scenes within this show and the way they frame things and the way they say things that make you just go, wow, huh. And yeah, you're right. That is one of them. And it's just the fact that one, he has dementia, why he says, and him like fucking Bruce also like the fact that he still loves his wife and sees her in Michaela, the old her,
yeah. Hmm.
but the fact that he doesn't remember, and and again, like it's his fault. Let's be clear that his wife killed herself, right? The way
Yeah.
and and again, being clear, like I understand why he shut down. It can be hard to deal with a person who's going through depression and you don't know how to approach that or deal with that. So sometimes you yourself might just shut down on that and just
Mm.
walk away from it because that can be hard to
Yeah.
deal with. That's your
And you can
wife,
also tell that
man. That's your
he does
significant
that.
other. You
Hmm.
chose to be with that person. You
Yep.
don't get to shut down at that point.
Yeah. There's also a bit in the stock with Ethan that you can tell that on the one hand he still loves his wife, but then he also kind of blames her for everything that went down afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like if she didn't do it, we wouldn't be in this situation, which is kind of No, but it's interesting.
I mean, again, like this is again, I this is why I would recommend the show because while I don't like any of these characters, and again, this is not my cup of tea for a show, it is still good because I can recognize that every single one of these people are flawed. Every single one of these people, I can understand why they are flawed in the way that they are. I can understand exactly why they made the choices they made. Like, they feel human. Like, I think we've all watched shows where a character will do something or say something and it doesn't quite line up. Like, it doesn't feel normal that a person would make that choice or say that thing in that given situation.
Hmm.
This, no, you can completely understand it. You can completely get it.
Yeah.
And again, do not get me wrong, not a good thing, but you can understand where it's coming from, good
Mhm.
or bad.
And I think just the fact that we can sit here and just jump from discussion to discussion about the scenes in this show and the characters in the show and how everything plays off and everything, I think that's one. I think that again goes to show
It's
why
good.
I recommend this series, why I enjoyed it so much. We can have interesting talks about it even after it ended, and and it's not like we're talking about a show that's going to continue on or something, not necessarily anyway.
I
It's like
hope
we,
not.
we are talking about 5 episodes.
I really hope they don't
And
bring this one back. And that's
yeah,
not because it's not
let
my cup of tea. And I,
I think, listen, by this point in time, I think it's pretty clear that there's not going to be a season 2. But people have thrown around theories.
wait,
So
it's just one of those things of I don't think I'd want a season two because there is nothing here you could. I mean, I guess you did a completely different and brand new cast of characters, maybe, but I don't know. This is one of
like
those.
if you
Just
were to
make a new
continue
show.
this particular plot line, then you say no. Which to be fair, I'm kind of with you,
I don't.
even if I made some theories,
It's just one of those things of
it's
I don't
not.
need to see more. I kind of like I can infer where these characters are going and what's going to happen to them in a way, right? Like I don't need more from them, you know, if that makes sense.
I get you, but what I'm saying though in regards to look at how many discussions and we can have
Fair.
based on just five
Yeah,
episodes. This is
absolutely.
not a long show in the slightest, and yet those 5 episodes contain a lot. You can look at this show in so many ways, and it's just interesting. I love when a show can do that.
Fair. Very much agreed.
So, is there anything else to say about Sirens, or or
No,
did we talk enough?
again, while this show isn't necessarily my cup of tea, I would recommend it.
I still say this is my favorite show of last year because
That's
of
fair.
how much it caught me unprepared, how much I still enjoyed talking about it and thinking about it and discussing it. And yeah, I think even though in my video I talk about some theories I make about where would I take a season 2, I think it just you can totally leave it here. We don't need to touch it. Let's just move on. It can exist as those 5 episodes, and I am satisfied with it.
Having now watched it, I absolutely understand why you like it as much as you do.
I'm glad then because the reason I was gonna hesitate to make an episode about this, it's like this isn't really Wolf's cup of tea. I'm
It is
not
not.
sure if this, yeah, I'm
As I
not
have
sure
said.
if this is. Yeah. No, and for fair enough for the record, but I'm like, I wonder if the discussions that I kind of want to make are gonna come up, and they did. So I'm happy about it.
No, fair. Very fair.
I'm happy that we managed to have these discussions and that things went by well. So,
Hmm.
huzzah!
Fuck Peter, though.
No, fuck Peter. He's my favorite character in the show, but it's not because he's a good person. Fuck him. Uh, Well, anyway, anything else to say before we wrap up?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, so this is it for this episode of the Outcast. We hope you enjoyed it. What do you think about Sirens? Do you agree with our takes from the show? What did you think about the ending? Is there a character you actually like in this show? You can tell us all about it in the comment section below on our Twitter, which is Bearcast with capital B, capital C, and on our Tumblr, which is Bearcast Team. So until the next episode, I was HC.
I was Wolf.
Stay away from any siren noises, and we will see you all next time. Take care.
Bye bye.